Today, I want to talk to you about the 5 things that men need in relationships. This conversation started based upon my page. I have a couple different pages. My YouTube or my TikTok on that page generally. I have more of a female following. It's probably 90% female. And this is a topic that came up. And it's important for people to kind of get a grip of understanding how they can match the people that they're trying to look to draw into their lives. And so the first thing would be respect. Respect is something that's important in any relationship that you're in, but it's definitely important in an intimate or personal relationship that you're involved with. Aretha Franklin wrote a song about it years ago, and she said RESPECT. That is what you mean to me. I mean, she in this song she's talking about the importance of respect in that relationship and how that respect is one of the key elements and key components to a healthy and to a happy relationship because when you respect a person, that means that you honor their words. That means that you're not someone you're not gonna make everything that they say wrong. You're gonna respect things that they say. You're not gonna give them the side eye every time they say something or do something. It's gonna be the type of thing that you're gonna come from a place of in reverence, but not worship, but reverence and respect for that person. And if this is going to be a healthy relationship, there has to be a level of respect because respect represents that I'm not going to be second guessing you. I'm not going to be over talking you. I'm not going to be doing things to belittle you and make you appear small and make you appear not important. And so when you don't respect a person, you're basically putting them in a position where they're not going to feel loved. They're not going to feel like they are important to you. And so the next thing that's important in relationship, if you're looking to have a healthy relationship, is intimacy, being physically involved with your person. And so that's something that's very important to men in a relationship. It's part of and I often coach my clients, my female clients, and I tell them, I said, look, you got to understand that this man, especially if he's someone that dated a lot of different people, he chose out of all the women to be with, he chose you. And so part of him choosing you, he pretty much um, cut off all women. I'm talking about people that are in committed, faithful relationships. He cut off all other women. He cut off all other, sources of intimacy and all the things that go along with that. He chose to settle down and commit to you. He chose to ask you to marry you. He chose you as the person that he wanted to establish himself and create a family and do all these things. One of the things that builds a wedge in those relationships when marriage happens often, and this is a complaint that men have that women maybe don't hear, but I know that it's a complaint because I'm a man. Is they say that when they dated this person, the intimacy, and I'm using the word intimacy because wherever I'm going to post this, and it could get certain pages. They're temperamental with words, so I don't want to say words. I'm trying to frame it in such a way that it's so delicate that it doesn't hurt anything. But so my point is, the intimacy with that person. And so with the intimacy with that person, that's how a man he gets connected, part of the connection to you. It's also, of course, with women, but I'm saying that's how man feels a sense of validation and a sense of respect and a sense of acceptance. It's through that intimacy. So if you're rejecting him, if he's approaching you and you're rejecting him, that's going to put a roadblock in that relationship over a period of time. It's going to cause a rift to start creating in that relationship, especially if it's always an excuse about something, about why it can't take place and why it's not happening. And so this is part of the reason why sometimes there is infidelity. And I'm not saying that that is a reason why there should be. I'm saying that, but sometimes it is because there wasn't really a conversation about this topic, and then it's assumed that certain things are going to still take place because when they dated them, it was a lot of activity, so on and so forth. Things were going on. And now that they're together and they're in a relationship, they're not getting the same amount of response, and so they feel it as a form of rejection. So this is the thing that I would stress to any woman: if you're in a relationship with a man and you're constantly telling him no, he's feeling that, whether he tells you or not. He's probably internally taking that on and taking that in and him. The person that he chose, the person that he decided that I'm going to marry, I'm going to love, I'm going to be committed to, is rejecting him. That's how he feels. And so it's going to build a rip in that relationship over a period of time. So it's going to pull you two apart. So it's something that you two have to come to some type of an agreement with, have a conversation about, talk about, and it shouldn't be something that's done as a task. It should be something that's done because you love this person. You're attracted to this person. You know, this person is appealing to you. You want to please this person, right? The third thing would be appreciation. Most of us want to be appreciated. If we are not appreciated, then what happens is we feel like we're being disrespected or we're being overlooked. And so the first thing that I talked about was respect, because when you're looking at the five things that men need, but this is also things that women need. But I'm talking to women because women, 90% more of women follow me on most of my page. So the third thing would be appreciation. Most of us like to know that when we've done something, that someone's going to come back and say, you know what, I appreciate that, especially if it's somebody that's important to us. You know, when I was married, my sons, when they lived with us, when they were little, especially when they were little kids, I would often teach them, yo, your mom cooked. Go thank your mom for cooking. You know, be grateful for the things that the people have done around you. Don't take things for granted. Don't take things for granted that that person that you're married to or that you're with just took your car to go get it serviced. Don't take it for granted that they just bought you flowers or just wrote you a note. Don't take it for granted because someone's not getting that. Sometimes when you're getting things like that, it can be the type of thing of, oh, okay, that's just them. But no, make a fuss over them, make it a fuss over you. This is how you're going to build a tighter union. So either you want to build a tighter union or you don't. I mean, this is kind of where the rubber meets the road, and you got to kind of make a decision on this thing. Appreciating that person. You know, one of the ways when my boys got older, they had been working for me for a while, and they were making money, and they had side things that they were doing because I'm a business owner. And one time at some point, you know, when again living home and stuff like that. In the process of them living home, one day we're all sitting at the table. I called the whole, you know, everybody together. Yo, come on in here. I would call family conferences. And so when these family conferences, I would talk about things that I saw that I want to change or that we need to do to be better as a family. In the process of me having this conversation with the sons, and you know, I was telling them, I said, look, I said, y'all got to realize, I said, your mom cooks for y'all. She washes your clothes. She's doing this. She's calling about appointments for y'all. She's doing all these different things for y'all while y'all are out working. I said, y'all should be. I'm not asking you to pay me rent to live in this house. I said, because I'm not looking for it. I'm saying, but y'all should have the kindness within your heart to consider what your mom is doing for you, and you should be giving her something for that. When we had that family conference and we had that conversation, I'll say within 2 weeks later, let's say a month later, within a month later, these jokers had gotten some money together and gotten moved out and gotten their own places and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, what? It didn't make any sense. Now was, I'm not saying I'm gonna live with dad because dad ain't gonna allow me to do this. He ain't gonna allow me to be laying up in bed with no women up in his house and this, that, and the other. And I better go to church every week. And so they said, hey, man, if I'm gonna start paying, I'm gonna go live out there on my own. And so that's how that situation. Now, but back to my point, appreciation is important. Letting so many people, especially the major givers out there, they don't hear the appreciations. They don't hear the thanks. They don't hear the, you know, I appreciate you and I think you're a great, you know, you inspire me and you're a help and you're so on and so forth. When we look at society in a bowl or in a nutshell, right now, the way the world is set up, the more egotistical, the more ignorant, the more degrading. It seems like those are the people that are getting the accolades. Those are the people that are getting the response, are receiving. The people that are talking about things that help people to grow and to learn what it is to love someone else and to learn what it is to be, you know, hey, thank you, Lataya. And those people generally aren't the people that are getting a lot of recognition. They're not getting a lot of love. They're not getting a lot of people saying, you know what, I appreciate you. I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate that you're. They're not getting a lot of the recognition. So when we're at home with our person, we should take the time to appreciate them. Appreciate the note that they wrote. Appreciate them washing your car. Appreciate them taking your car to get an oil change. Appreciate her cooking you a nice meal. Appreciate the things that they've done. Appreciate the thoughtfulness. Appreciate that they were thoughtful enough to say, you know what can I do for my person? What can I do to make it easier for the person that I say that I love? We're talking about the 5 things so I got a list of 5 more that I'm gonna go over for women. I won't go over them today because I'm gonna go over something. This is just something real quick I wanted to share with y'all. First thing I talked about was respect. Everybody needs respect in these relationships. RESPECT. That's what Aretha said, right? Part of respect, and I talked about this, is we can't overtalk people. We're willing to listen to what they're saying. We don't have to always be right. I talked about the intimacy part as the second thing. Lack of intimacy in a relationship for a man he takes that personal. I stress this to women when I coach them all the time. If you're in a relationship with a man that is fully heterosexual, that loves a woman, he will take it personal, even though he's not going to tell you this. He takes it personal if you reject him sexually. This is why it's so important that you don't reject him, the intimacy that's part of that relationship. The third thing is appreciation. Do you appreciate the people or that person that you're in a relationship with? Fourth thing would be loyalty. Any man that is in a relationship wants to know that he is with a person that is loyal, that knows what it is to be loyal, knows what it is to no longer be, somebody of the streets or somebody that's, that needs all of the attention from everybody else and that's always in everybody else's space. Someone that's loyal, someone that they can count on when they turn their back, that this person isn't doing something behind their back to bring shame and disgrace to their household. But someone that is there as a source to uplift and to lift them up and to encourage and to build. That's what they need. They need someone that is loyal. What does loyalty mean? Loyalty means that I know that I can trust you based upon years and time and that we've spent with each other. And you've shown me through your actions that you're someone that is not only a person that speaks, but you're a person that backs up your speech with your actions. Your words and your actions aligned. You're showing me that you're loyal in word, but you're showing me that you're loyal in deed. You're not doing things for other people that you're not even doing for your person. Don't bake a cake for your neighbor, but you're not baking a cake for your husband or the person that you're in that relationship with. Don't give the other people out in the society confirmation and affirmations. Don't give people out in society all this validation and all this, whatever, but you're not giving it to the person in your own house. They want to know that you are loyal. Loyalty is important. But loyalty, again, these are things I'm saying for 5 things that men want. But these are 5 things that women want. But the 5 things that women want a lot of times, and I'm going to go over them in another segment, are more on an emotion base. But loyalty is important, knowing that I can trust you and that you are there, knowing that the things that I'm putting effort in, that you're going to appreciate it. You're going to appreciate all of the long hours. You're going to appreciate me starting a company and working all the hours to do something, to build something for our family. You're going to appreciate the fact that I'm sacrificing my body and my time and my energy. You're going to appreciate the fact that what I'm doing, I'm not just doing for myself, but I'm doing for us. This is part of appreciation. Appreciation represents, for whatever reason I went back there, it represents that I'm not looking just at myself and what I'm missing out on, but I'm understanding partially what the other person is trying to do because they've had conversations with me. They've had conversations with you. And they've explained to you what the goal is for the family. They've explained to you what is the objective and what they're trying to do. And the 5th thing, which is the most important thing, is peace. Majority of men, if you're a woman on here that's going to watch this, the one thing that they would want most of all, and that they want most of all, is peace. Because they battle out when they're out in society, especially if he's someone that is aggressive and he's out there building certain things. He doesn't want to come home and have to battle a person that he loves. He doesn't want to have to debate every single thing he says with this person because of no respect. If he's got to battle and argue and debate with you about every single thing that is being said, he's not going to feel respected. He's not going to feel any love of appreciation. He's not going to feel a love of loyalty either. Because part of us being with someone is understanding that other person. Peace is important in any relationship because the peace is part of the glue, is part of the bond. If there's always bickering and always arguing and someone always has to be right and someone always has to be wrong, and there's always a big discussion about nothing, and there never can be just a moment of peace. That's like one of the first people I went. I dated this young lady for a short period of time. One of the first people I dated after I was single, after my divorce. And I'm a person that I'm an introspection person. We ended up going on a cruise. It was like a short little weekend deal. Um, I went on this cruise with her, and we were sitting on this back balcony, and you could watch the ocean, and and I'm sitting there, and I'm just soaking it in. I'm taking in what I'm looking at and what I'm seeing, and in the process of me soaking it in, she's talking. And I'm like, oh, God. In my mind, I didn't say it to her, but in my mind, I'm thinking, yo, can't you just kind of just, you know, soak in where we are? Be sensitive to what showed, well, just part of showing me that she was not the person. But I mean, and I'm just using that as an example, your person should be able to gauge where you are based upon your mannerisms. They've been around you enough. They've invested enough time and energy in you. And so when that person is because I get into meditative states when I'm watching certain things. If I'm watching a body of water, I get into meditative states and I start seeing certain things and start getting certain revelations. And so that's something that naturally and we had already had that conversation. And she's talking to me about some nonsense and yeah. So whatever. And my long story short, I kind of knew. I kind of knew after that, because of that and some other things, that this wasn't something that was supposed to work or was going to work for me, I'll say. Because peace is important. And so sometimes peace means just being quiet. Sometimes peace means that you're not with a person that's always confrontational. The second person that I kind of talked to, and the only is because it's only been 2 in 4 years. The second one, she always had to have a conversation about small things which were not that important. Every little thing, nitpick every little thing, and I was like, I don't need you telling me what I need to do or what needs to take place. You know, I'm a boss in every single area of my life. I built companies that fed my family for 30 years based upon my knowledge, my hard work, my ability, and God's grace. I don't need you telling me what you think, and because I don't do this, that way. This ain't gonna work. If you want to boss somebody around, you got to find somebody that's passive aggressive, or some little pansy, or some little passive man, some man that's not don't understand his masculinity, or was not connected to his true masculinity. Of course, I take you know words, and I whatever you want to call it. But just the constant, always everything's an issue. And, oh, well, I'm just you're not setting boundaries. You're being nitpicky over stuff that is not important. If you've ever been in a long-term relationship, there's some things that your person's going to do that you just got to overlook because it's not a big deal. That's part of growth. That every little thing isn't an issue. If everything's an issue, that shows you that person is not high vibration. Everything has to be a conversation and it's a discussion, and I don't need major conversations and discussions. That's what I told her. So again, I X that out. Well, this is boring me, so I'm gone. But I'm just trying to share with y'all. These are 5 things that men need if you're going to have a successful relationship. And I went to extremes. And I talked about myself because I'm just very, very at the point where I don't care. I'm very picky. I know what I want. I know what I'm not going to put up with because my vision is where I'm going in the future. If someone is too jealous, or they're too this or they're too that, I know that they're not a person that I'm going to be able to be around or be with, because I deal with 90% women. Where my business is now, I'm in my infancy right now. This is training ground. I'm like David right now in the wilderness. I'm out there. I got my sling in my hand. I got the lion, the tiger, and the bear. Oh my! And I'm battling things that might appear big and dangerous, but I'm going through the storm. I'm going through the infancy of getting this thing off the ground. I've been through this process before. So this isn't something that's foreign to me. This is something that I know what it is. I know how to go through it because I've already been through it numerous years and numerous times before. And so you got to have somebody that's got your back, that knows what it is to stand and stop whining about everything, but figure it out. And I tell people all the time, if you're an entrepreneur, they're not going to call you every second of every day because they got things that they're doing. They're taking care of business. And I went off on a tangent. I didn't mean to. I tried to keep this video at 15 minutes and end up going to 20. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Appreciate each and every one. Thank you, Lataya. Appreciate you. I thank each and every one of y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for the taps, the likes, the shares. I just wanted to get on here because I hadn't been on a live in YouTube, but because I've been on TikTok because I'm trying to build people to pull them over here. And so appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. Thank each and every one of you. Have a great day. And like I always say, I believe in you. You got to believe in yourself. Also, I have a 10 question. I have a 10 question little it's like a fun quiz. If you're interested in taking that, I can send you the link. In that link, it'll take you to the 10 questions you answered in, and at the end it'll tell you where you are on your gauge as far as your healing process, and if you still are stuck on your ex and whatever it is. But if you're interested in that, DM me, let me know. But again, my name is Arnold Austin. Like I always say, I believe in you, but you got to believe in yourself. Thanks. Talk to you soon. All right, Lataya. Talk to you soon.